Welcome back to Appalachian Dim Sum.
Where entertainment is our comfort food.
That's right.
This time we are going to be talking about, I think we've mentioned this before, about maybe doing a little focus on stuff from when we were younger.
Yeah.
I took us back to Crossroads, which is probably directly responsible for today.
It absolutely is.
Leading us into My Cousin Vinny.
Mm-hmm.
The connection there is Ralph Macchio.
Yeah. My thought process was, I was trying to think of because we got just shy of a decade between us.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of how the stuff that you were watching as a young teen, at that point in my life, I was watching He-Man and Ninja Turtles and stuff.
Yeah.
And when I was a young teen, the stuff I was watching is a lot of the stuff we talk about, like Akira and Ghost in the Shell and stuff like that. Like that was the early 90s for me. And I was just racking my head. I was like, well, what movies did I really enjoy? And there were two that I came up with. And I was thinking of how I like the Ninja Turtles, and I thought about how my brain went all over the place. I thought about how it was weird that I wasn't into karate. Yeah. Like, I really loved the Ninja Turtles, but I didn't care about the Karate Kid. I thought Three Ninjas was stupid. Beverly Hills Ninjas I enjoyed just because of Chris Farley. It had nothing to do with the ninja stuff.
Yeah.
So I wasn't into ninjutsu or anything like that at all, which is kind of weird because I was so much into the Ninja Turtles. I guess I just really like the turtle part.
I think it's where it hits you because the age that Karate Kid came along, I want to say was something like 4th or 5th grade for me. So you're just kind of getting to that next level of getting to watch some PG-13 type level movies.
And at that point I was watching Care Bears or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of, you're getting out of just watching cartoons all the time and watching movies with stories and realizing that there's a world of things out there that are kind of cool, but that related or translated into, because of the interest in Karate Kid, to all sorts of martial arts stuff for all of my friends and stuff. Eventually all the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and things like that. So it kind of depends on where it lands in your timeline. That we probably for years after that watched nothing but we'd go to the store and just go try to find the martial arts movies, and we'd rent some awful movies and sit through some stuff. It's man, this is pretty bad. But we were still just so fixated on all the fighting and stuff that we would watch it regardless of what it was.
And that was very much a lot of the kids that were around me were into that too. I never really got into Japanese samurai films and stuff like that, but people around me did.
Most of the stuff that we watched were all kind of American versions of it, like Jean-Claude Van Damme stuff.
Right.
There was oh my goodness, the guy who did the Taibo stuff. He was he was an actor and those kind of things at the same time. There were several other actors like that tried to follow Van Damme's career, and they did all these awful, really bad movies. It wasn't really until later I got into the actual Japanese stuff and the samurai things, and that kind of came back through getting introduced into anime, which again started with Princess Mononoke and Ghibli stuff.
When did you get into sumo?
In 2014.
Oh, okay. So that was a part of all that.
We had seen it, and it was we're going to be in Japan while there's a tournament going on. Let's go to a day of it, and literally just watched. We were thinking we had tickets to do something else that day because we were I don't know if the kids will even sit through half of a day of sumo. We started watching sumo, and our kids loved it, and I was we got so lucky that we were sitting there with a Japanese couple that spoke English that were regulars. I think they go to that tournament every year. They explained everything to us, the history and all the pageantry with it and all the tradition stuff, and who this wrestler was and who they liked and who they didn't like and all that. So we kind of almost had a guided tour through sumo, and it really got me into that. And that probably also coincided with the fact that sports in America became a political front for people to argue about politics instead of playing games, and
which is odd, but hey, culture craft.
We got away from following a lot of the same sports that we kind of grew up watching at the same time because I just didn't want to turn on sports and listen to somebody lecture me about crap. So sumo is a nice place to turn on that.
So when I was thinking about how I wasn't into karate films or anything Karate Kid. Oh, I did really enjoy My Cousin Vinny, and I watched it quite a bit growing up.
Yeah,
The other film. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
we had it on VHS tape,
Yeah.
which to put you into the time or the world that we used to live in, the videotapes that we owned, we walked into our local Video Vision. This is before Blockbuster even came to our area. It was a locally owned store that actually was owned by a guy that won the Virginia lottery.
Nice.
He won like $3.1 million or
Hey,
something.
I've often wondered how come we don't know more people that have won the lottery. You'd think everybody would know someone.
He's the only
You
person.
met somebody. That's great.
But they ran that little business, and I think he actually sort of stepped away from it. I think that happened all pretty close to each other. But anyway, whenever movies would cycle out, they would just put them into a box, and it'd be like $1 or $2 a piece for ones they were done with. And we got a copy of My Cousin Vinny probably years after it came out, and watched it at the house all the time because we didn't have but 2 channels, and our VHS tapes were what we lived off of. But
the other film that kind of popped in my head at the same time. Have you ever seen My Blue Heaven?
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about that at another point. That's another one for me.
Steve Martin is
fantastic.
He's his own category.
That's one of those films. That's obscure enough to where that's one of those films where I'll mention it to somebody and they'll be like, "What?"
Yeah.
I've introduced quite a few people to that film.
And My Cousin Vinny is a 1992 film. $11 million budget, made $64 million at the box office.
Fantastic.
So they rolled in money on that one. I don't think this is one of those things that didn't have another like $10 million of advertising. It was literally some trailers and that was it. But it was written by Dale Launer. I'm sorry. He wrote screenplays for Dirty Rotten Scoundrel, Ruthless People, Blind Date were kind of the ones that I recognized.
Okay.
Then it was directed by a British director named Jonathan Lynn, and he's director of like Clue, Nuns on the Run, The Whole Nine Yards. And
I could see the director for Clue, yeah.
There's British sitcoms called Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister, which I've never heard of, but I guess they were a long-running British thing, sort of a political commentary show, comedy type thing. So those are the people involved. I really not familiar with either one of them by name anyway.
Well, man, Dale Dale Launer.
Yeah.
He didn't do much. He's got 8 writing credits.
Ruthless People is probably one of the first like R-rated movies that I ever saw, and I loved it because I was really into Danny DeVito when he kind of first came through with like a Jewel of the Nile. It was, I think, the first thing that I saw him in, or Romancing the Stone. Okay. Before Jewel of the Nile, and that was a movie that came out right after that when he became popular. The kind of comedy kidnapping movie is kind of funny, but.
What is this film rated? I'm assuming R for language.
My Cousin Vinny?
Yeah. Kind of looking on the IMDb page right now.
I don't think they ever say that on Wikipedia. Yeah, it'd be PG-13, or it might have been R.
At least PG-13.
I think when you dropped an F word into movies in this time frame, they would push you into R rating sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't recall that being.
Yeah, it's an R.
Yeah. I don't recall that being like really prominent in the movie, but it doesn't take like 1 or 2 to get you there. At least back then it didn't.
Yeah, my grandmother would not appreciate this film.
Yeah. Been a little while since I've watched it. But. Yeah. And we also agreed coming into this, I just ran a mouse across the picture and it popped up that we would not turn this into a discussion about our affection for Marissa Tomei.
Well, I was thinking about like what I know her from, and I was like, I know her from this film. There was an episode of Seinfeld that was about her. Did you watch much Seinfeld? Okay, well, the episode was essentially George Costanza was engaged to this woman, and they find out that like Elaine knows, like she's in contact with Marissa Tomei. And Marissa Tomei likes short, fat, balding men. That's like her type. And George is obsessed with getting at first he's like, no, I can't. And he's like, no, wait, I do. I want it. Give me your number. And he just completely blows it with her. And I think she's actually in the episode. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
I first knew her, and for whatever word you want to apply to it, loosely fell in love with her in the series A Different World, where Denise goes to college, because I grew up on the Cosby
Different
Show.
World, yeah. She was in that?
She was one of the girls in the dorm.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't a real prominent role, but she was one of the ones that kind of showed up pretty often, and that was always my favorite parts of that show when she showed up, because She is a little bit older than me, but not terribly so.
Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah,
She's
George does meet her in Seinfeld.
she's
And,
less than a decade. She's like 60, so she's only about 8 years older than me, which makes sense that as a young boy, you would be
yeah.
obsessed with her as an older teenager.
And then the Spider-Man films. Like that's really. And I looked at her IMDb page because I realized I was like she's a part of our cultural lexicon, but I really haven't seen her in a lot of films.
I've seen her in a lot of, but they're kind of independent, more drama films.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like all the films that she's been in aren't the kinds of films I generally gravitate toward.
Yeah.
No science fiction.
When we had cable and stuff, I would catch more of her movies because they would just be on and be like, well, this looks interesting. I'll watch this, but wouldn't have sought out very many of the movies that she's done as well.
Her performance in My Cousin Vinny is fantastic. I think.
Did she win any awards for that?
I think she. I have no idea. I'd be surprised if she didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
because she dominated every scene she was in. She just chewed her scenes up.
And she was Best Supporting Actress. She did win, and Funniest Actress in a Motion Picture. She was nominated. Mm-hmm. Best Supporting Actress. That was at the Academy Awards. Also, the Chicago Awards. She got Best Supporting Actress. So yeah, she was recognized for it. MTV Movie Awards. I didn't even know that was a thing in '92. But
and this was one of her earlier films. The draw really was Pesci.
Yeah,
I mean that because he was known for like Goodfellas or whatever.
Yeah,
so that's.
Yeah, was this before Home Alone? Same time.
Oh, that's right. He did Home Alone as well.
I was trying to think.
It's in '92, right?
Yeah, this is '92.
Home Alone.
Yeah,
I think Home Alone was like 90. Yeah, 1990.
Okay.
So yeah, okay, so
this was a good follow-up.
Yeah,
probably follow-up role that he got thanks to that, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But, and it kind of was another, an appearance from Ralph Macchio. You kind of thought he'd kind of cycled out of everything after the Karate Kid stuff.
Did he do again? I know him from like the Karate Kid. I know him from this now Crossroads, but back then I didn't know him.
He was in
and then he was in like there was like a TV series, like a sequel to the Karate Kid. What was that called?
I was thinking more of that old kind of movie. I think we read it and watched it in school. Oh my goodness.
Cobra Kai. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's very recent.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was in that. So.
What's the thing about all the gangs that are fighting each other that had like every?
Oh, the Outsiders.
Outsiders.
Yeah, he was in the Outsiders.
Yeah, he was. That was kind of like his first big role, and then the Karate Kid stuff came, and this came after that. And Crossroads was before that. That was in '86. So
I'm gonna bring up his IMDb to see like
this was kind of a resurfacing of him because
what
again,
has he been doing?
Crossroads from like '80 was in '86, and this was in '92. He kind of disappeared for a little bit.
I kind of feel like you were never really a Star Trek fan.
No.
The guy who played Wesley Crusher on that is Will Wheaton, and like after he played Wesley Crusher, like what he did was he was Will Wheaton in other things. Like he kind of always played himself. Okay. If he didn't play himself, it was like, hey, that's Will Wheaton. Okay. He was there because he's Will Wheaton, and I feel like he kind of filled that role as well.
Yeah, Ralph Macchio is always a kid from New York.
Yeah. I mean, it looks
inserted
like
into a blues movie, a karate movie. This is a going into the South movie again, kind of like Crossroads.
I mean, it looks like he was working regularly, but he did a lot of TV shows. The Outer Limits, Can't Be Heaven. He in Entourage in 2005, he played Ralph Macchio. That's what I'm talking about. It's like
the other guy that's with him is like the one that I actually have never seen in anything else. I don't think that's Mitch Whitfield that played Stan.
Oh, I know I've seen him in things.
Yeah, I'm sure he's had to have done things, but he's kind of the one that came out on the short end of the stick after my cousin Vinny was like, everybody else here, all of these faces, but
even the judge was Munster, right?
Fred Gwynn.
Yeah.
Pet Sematary. That's where I always knew him from. He's the old guy in Pet Sematary.
All right. See, I've only ever seen Pet Sematary as a child. What part did he play in that?
He's the old guy that lives across the road. The one that shows him about the cemetery, and the one that Gage comes back and like slices his ankle. Okay. It's like the most horrific thing I'd seen up to my point. Up to that point in my life. I saw
it way too young.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna.
Lane Trotter is the prosecuting attorney in that, and he's Didn't he play
Oh yeah,
he played Nixon
yeah.
in like a series about Nixon of Bruce McGill. Everybody knows him. He plays the sheriff and My Cousin Vinny.
Oh dude,
Um,
Mitchell Whitfield.
yeah, Mitch Whitfield is
Mitchell
the
Whitfield.
was his friend that got caught up in the arrest in My Cousin Vinny.
It looks like Sergeant Pilko. I mean, from early on, 1994, he voiced a character in Duckman.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Duckman? See, okay, that we talk about things I watched as a kid. Like I watched Duckman. I watched Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at his other movies. He, like I said, he didn't
he's
really have the big career after this one.
he did a lot of voice work. It looks like he transitioned into voice acting.
Yeah.
Because he was like I
it's
said,
because
Duckman, the Angry Beavers.
Kind of looks like because he went bald young.
Yeah, that might have been it. Hellboy. He played Donatello in a video game for Ninja Turtles. Yeah, he's all over the place, man. Legend of Korra. He played a waiter, gun conductor, and waiter. He played multiple people.
Yeah.
All right, well, good on him.
Whatever pays the bills, I guess.
Yeah, man. Well, I know Mark Hamill has said before that when he got into voice acting, he's like, "This is wonderful because I get casted from my voice, not from what I look like."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there you go.
You don't have to work out for 6 months with some trainer to
Right.
give a perfect vision of what somebody looks like for a 2-hour movie.
But I did rewatch this past week in preparation for this, and I tell you, man, this is one of those films where this script needs to be taught because it is a by the numbers. It's a by the numbers Hollywood movie, and it is competent from beginning to end. It is a fantastic script.
Yeah.
I've told you before about my my focus on the idea of Chekhov's gun, where like if you show something in a movie or whatever, if you include it, you need to have a reason you include it. Don't just put stuff in there and just never mean anything.
Yeah.
And this movie does a really good job of giving you things that don't seem like they're anything, but they come back later and they are something.
Yeah.
Perfect example is the tire, the mud in the tires. That seems just like a throwaway joke, but it comes back later.
Yeah.
The fact that they're always taking pictures on that little camera. It's like, okay, well, they're tourists. They're in the South. They don't really know anything. They're taking pictures. That's
how many people would that even be lost on when they're snapping and winding the thing? People are like, right? What are they doing?
Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
But people do take pictures with their phones.
Yeah.
So that's something that people do, but it comes back to play later in the film. It's a lot of things that get introduced, pays off later. Even the grits. That's great.
It's interesting to see that the development of this movie too. They wanted Andrew Dice Clay to be Joe Pesci.
Really?
And
that would have been way too different.
Lorraine Bracco,
mm-hmm.
the girl that is Ray Liotta's wife in Goodfellas, they wanted her to be Mona Lisa, to be great day. I just was talking about her. Marissa Tomei's role.
Yeah, it's like Mona Lisa Vito.
She would have been good, but man, this is an alignment of the stars, with this movie.
100%.
The way that it worked out with the characters. You can't interchange any of these people they're talking about with any of these people, and it would have not have. They even mentioned Danny DeVito for Joe Pesci, and it's like,
no, I love Danny DeVito.
It would have been funny, but like it would not have been the same.
Let's see. I'm going to look up Joe Pesci height because Andrew Dice Clay is 6 foot tall. Joe Pesci is 5'4" and a quarter.
They threw it in the quarter.
I love it when you get small enough. You're like, give me anything I got, man.
Yeah.
So he's 5'4", and Marissa Tomei is obviously taller than him. And the interplay and the chemistry between these two characters were fantastic.
And it says that the screenplay writer, I guess that's Loner. Yeah, the Loner was a big fan of Sam Kinison, and that was his inspiration for a lot of the comedy in this, which kind of makes sense with the Joe Pesci yelling and all the characters being very loud and very demonstrative on everything. Yeah, they even considered Robert De Niro and Jim Belushi to play Joe Pesci. It's like, man, y'all dodged lots of bullets with that. This movie would not have been.
No, I really think Joe Pesci's height, his stature, really is actually important to the character.
Yeah,
The fact that he beats that one guy up over $200. I actually, we were watching. I was like, I gotta watch that again. Just that 1 second scene of where he's covered in mud and he's walking. He doesn't have time, and he's like, "I got you $200." And when he punches, he goes at like a 45-degree angle. It's like Mario. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. Love it.
Yeah, I don't. His level of line delivery and comedy and stuff was kind of at its perfection level here. They tried to take that into those Lethal Weapon movies, and it kind of became annoying. I think kind of irritated people with his maybe overuse in those, but it was a new style of acting that a lot of people hadn't seen, and a lot of things just really goes hard on the kind of crazy mobster New York accent too.
Mhm.
And then having Marissa Tomei being able to do the way she delivered all of her lines too, were there.
Now, I was thinking as we were watching this. First, I want to talk about their chemistry with the arguments. One thing that was lost on me as a child was like why they seemed to like to argue like they did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I watched it this last time, because I watched, like I said, I watched it as a kid and watched it a couple times as a young adult. But like when I watched it this time, I was like, oh, that's foreplay. That's their thing, is like arguing is foreplay. And I remember when I watched it as a kid, when she was talking about the amount of torque that she puts on the faucet and everything, and she picked up a magazine and was like talking about the magazine like it's the manual. And at one point, she rips out a page and was like, "Here's your certificate of validation." I remember as a kid thinking, like, what? That's weird that they have the instruction manual for the faucet. I like all of that whole interplay. I was thinking was just played straight.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. And the way that comes back later, to where they're having a fight and they have that chemistry in the actual courtroom with the argument, and it gets her to essentially win the case for him.
I love the judges like sitting there watching it, like what am I looking at here? What's
Oh,
going on?
when he dismisses her, he's like, you can step down. It's great.
Like there's an old episode of Andy Griffith where there's a couple that fights all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody steps in and tries to make them stop fighting, and the couple are like, every time they come to town, they're super nice to everybody, they're really polite, but every time they talk to each other, it's just they're at each other, insulting each other and stuff. They step in, make them stop fighting, and they're like, "Yes, dear," all this back and forth. Then they're rude and just obnoxious to everybody else, and they're like, "You got to stop. You got to leave these people alone. Let them go back to arguing."
They got to argue with somebody.
They got to argue. It's like,
well,
I always thought about this. I always wonder if they kind of drew that from that Andy Griffith episode, where it's just like you got to let these people do their thing.
One of the things that I was curious about was Marissa Tomei's like the intonations of her voice and everything, and like the way she dressed. It really reminded me of Fran Drescher in The Nanny. And I know these are based off stereotypes, and there are there is something culturally where there are women who do dress like this, and they have it made me think of Coffee Talk from SNL with Mike Myers, like that kind of stereotype.
What's her name in Fisher King?
Yeah,
same character.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but I was wondering,
Brock's like hairdresser.
Yeah,
Neil.
And she even said, "I'm an out-of-work hairdresser."
Yeah.
Okay. But I looked up when The Nanny started, because, like I said, the character seemed so complete.
Oh, yeah.
The Nanny started the year after this, so I really don't think there was any inspiration, it was like as The Nanny went on. But
it's probably what got it greenlit. A lot of times those shows are sitting there and they're just like, I don't think we want to do that right now. And all of a sudden you have this popularity, and it's like, okay. And just to show kind of how important Tomei was in the way this whole movie functioned,
mm-hmm.
they had a sequel ready to go with this thing. And it was supposed to be Vincent Gambini, Joe Pesci practicing law in England, but Tomei was going to be in it as well. She dropped out, and as soon as she dropped out, they're like, nope.
Wow.
They shelved it. It was like, it's either it's either the people from the first movie or it's not going to work. I guess they realized that too.
I was going to say earlier when we were talking about this, and you're talking about the budget and how much it made and everything, is like, I think sometimes things are more special because they're unique, because they're singular. Like if there was a sequel to this, and there are so many movies that are like this, where like there are sequels, just like forget the sequel.
Deuce Bigalow versus Deuce Bigalow 2.
Yeah,
and it's like
Deuce Bigalow was something. Deuce Bigalow 2 was
just you trying to just tell the same jokes somehow or another, reframe them, and I'm sure that's probably what this would have been. Him practicing law in England.
You know, it says that the nanny sitcom officially began production in the summer of 1993, and the series subsequently premiered in November of 1993.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't sure how quickly that turnaround went. That is a quick turnaround. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. So yeah, I'm sure that the popularity of My Cousin Vinny did help that.
It happens all the time. You see it with everything from superhero stuff to anything else right now. It's like this thing comes out, it's popular. It's like we got to find something else like this quick. What else would we have?
Well, one of the things we talked about in this month is Spider Noir, and that kind of like, I mean, the popularity of the Spider-Man films and Marvel. Like, hey, we want some of that pie.
Yeah. It's a great movie. 1992. Gosh, what now? 30 years old.
And I guess the only other thing I would like to talk about is just the quotes, man. This is a very quotable film. I think my biological clock is ticking. That's.
Well, this is going to transfer into. Not exactly sure how we're going to work food into the episodes. We are trying to kind of truncate some things and try to be more episodic. But the food that we're doing for today is we're going to do grits.
We do grits,
and because of the quote.
Yeah. What is a grit?
They're at they're just at like a little diner, and I forget how I haven't watched this recently enough to have that line in my head, but talking about the menu and all that stuff. And
yeah, they give them the menu and they look at the menu, and again, this is one of those like this is how you make a film. They give them the menu, they're both looking at it, they look at each other, and like breakfast, and the menu is breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's all the menu is, and the breakfast has grits, and Vinny says, "What's this over here?" When they get the plate, it's eggs, bacon, and because he didn't know it was grits. It was just breakfast, eggs, bacon, and grits. And he's like, "What's this over here?" And the cook says, "You never heard of grits?" And he's like, "Sure, I've heard of grits. I just never actually seen a grit before." And again, that comes into play later on. One of the witnesses said he started cooking his breakfast, and he saw the two boys go into the convenience store, and when he was just sitting down to eat, he saw them come out. And he was like, well, could the two boys have left? And then two other men who look like him come in and kill the clerk.
In the time that it takes to boil your water and to soak your grits and get them soft and then cook them. It's the knowing the production involved in a grit.
Here we go.
Disprove a witness.
And he asked him, he said, let's see, do you remember what you had? Eggs and grits. Eggs and grits. I like grits too. How do you cook your grits? I like them regular, creamy. You like them regular, creamy, or al dente? Just regular, I guess. Regular or instant grits. No self-respected Southerner uses instant grits. I take pride in my grits. My Southerner card goes away. I think I've only ever had instant grits before. And then he asked him how long did it take to cook the grits. He was like 5 minutes. It goes back and forth. Well, perhaps the laws of physics cease to exist on your stove. Were these magic grits? I mean, did you buy them from the same guy who sold Jack his beanstalk beans? It's great. It's fantastic. Yeah, there's not a wasted scene in this film. Yeah. Every scene. Are there any cut scenes? I mean, I think every scene is important to the overall plot, overall narrative.
I don't think I'm alone in sort of saying, instead of complaining about what they do on Netflix or Hulu or Disney, to just cancel it and stop supporting it and stop wasting your money on it. And I say that because there's a wealth of things that if you just need to be entertained, there's so many good films that you can go back and watch. And I think when you go back and you get into films like this and appreciate the level of writing and the thought, and just even something that's kind of a simple, the whole thing is just they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Somebody gets murdered and they go to trial on this little sleepy southern town, and it's a pretty simple premise for a movie, but it's just so much better than anything that comes out right now. I mean, we talked about Spider Noir last time, and it's like, yeah, it's okay to watch.
Yeah,
wasn't a really ringing endorsement of it.
no,
And
it's fun, but I wouldn't say that this is a, a masterfully crafted series. I wouldn't say that about Spider Noir.
this
But
kind
My
of
Cousin
content
Vinny
doesn't.
is a masterful film. It
Yeah,
really is.
it doesn't. Anything that's happening, or not, most everything that's happening right now just doesn't even. It's not even on the same shelf as any of this stuff. And again, if you're really truly looking for quality entertainment, good storytelling, funny things, actual comedy where you can actually laugh, this is the kind of stuff. I mean, go back and watch old stuff. That's why do you spend so much money on some of these streaming services and then just be like, yeah, that was okay. It's like, I don't know. I guess I expect a little bit more return on my money when I spend it. But
I just you talking about that and us juxtaposing it with more modern things like Spider Noir. I came across as looking for stuff of the Rotten Tomato rating for Spider Noir, and I didn't mention it in our Spider Noir discussion because I didn't think it was relevant.
Yeah.
But it's got a 92% Rotten Tomato score.
Okay.
My Cousin Vinny has an 85%. That's a travesty.
Yeah.
I can't think of, literally, I cannot think of one way in which I would say Spider Noir is a more competent production than My Cousin Vinny.
It's just
it's
an illustration of a lot of people that haven't seen My Cousin Vinny.
Well, I think our expectations and our requirements for films and quality and whatnot has just gone down dramatically.
Yeah. You come away and it's like, yeah, it was pretty good. That seems like that's the most raving thing that anybody can say about anything here recently. It's like, yeah, that's pretty good.
And I think too many people, and I'm Lord knows I'm guilty of it too. They like something because they're a fan of the thing. Like they like it just because they're like, oh, I like this thing, so I'm going to like this. Dune is a good example.
Yeah.
If, as a fan of Dune, if I could nitpick the Villeneuve Dune films, I really could, but I don't want to. Yeah. I just, you know what? It's a Dune movie, and I'm just going to have fun. So, whatever.
That's the bonus of My Cousin Vinny. It's not a retelling or reimagining of anything else. It's just a story. And
absolutely.
There's plenty of those to be told if people will just spend the money on them. For $400 million that went into Spider Noir, you could have made...
How many?
This was $11 million to produce.
Jeez.
So you could have made, 30 to 40 movies for the price of... like this, for the price of Spider Noir?
Well, this probably... If this was made today, this would probably be 20...
It'd probably be 25, 30 million probably to do it now. And that would just be paying for Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei.
Right.
But if you got them when they're young, they wouldn't have been... Yeah. They wouldn't have been as expensive as they would be at this point.
So I looked up if there were any deleted scenes from My Cousin Vinny, and there are no traditional deleted scenes. So what they filmed, they showed. But in the original script, it went into Billy's mother's illness because apparently she was supposed to be hospitalized. Mm-hmm. And then apparently Vinny was supposed to have dyslexia.
Okay.
I guess that's just to kind of explain away the fact that he apparently doesn't know legal proceedings because, well, he's dyslexic. So
it's a 119-minute running time film, and that was on the high end of what was acceptable at that time. So,
yeah, 100. So 2 hours. I remember when 2 hours was like, that's a lot.
They were probably trying to get it under 120.
Yeah.
119 seems to be awfully convenient. That's where they got it to. So it's probably what they were targeting.
But if you haven't seen My Cousin Vinny, watch it. This is. I really do think this is one of the all-time great comedies.
I don't recall it enough to give you a recommendation on family level. It is a great teenage and older family movie. I think there's probably more language there than I'm probably remembering.
A lot of F's because they both Mona Lisa and Vinny use it casually in their conversations. Yeah, they use it as like an adjective to. I would emphasis say, on words.
With it being an R rating, that pretty much has to be what it was.
That's it. It's just the language. There's no violence. I mean, Vinny punches a guy. That's it. Yeah. And there's no sexual stuff. So
that's something we should probably do more of too. Is just give a little bit of our ratings thing of what we actually watch. So if you are trying to decide if you want to watch this, what you can who you can watch it with, who you want to show it to, if you want to watch it, that kind of thing.
Well, also, we didn't really do a lot of spoilers for this. I mean, we talked about some stuff, but
Yeah.
Having these shorter segments allows us to not go into spoilers more than we have in the past.
This is one kind of like the reason I didn't spoil Ghost in the Shell standalone when we were talking about it. You need to just experience it. It's more fun to do that. So,
all right,
give it a watch.
Yeah, Mike has been fantastic.
Yeah. Later.